All right, today we're going to dig into the Bitmine blueprint. It's an investment thesis that makes a pretty compelling case that the company Bitmine, ticker BMNR, is on the verge of a major breakout. So let's get right into the argument.
Wow, okay, so let's just start with that hook right there. This analysis kicks off with the idea that something's going on with Bitmine that could catch everyone completely off guard. That's a huge claim. So what's the thinking behind a prediction like that? Let's break it down.
So first things first, the analysis sets the stage, and the scene it paints is one that's just dominated by a single emotion: fear. We're not just talking about crypto here either. This is across the board, in the entire stock market.
Now, this is where the whole thing gets really interesting, where that contrarian thinking kicks in. Instead of seeing all this fear and these massive sell-offs as a reason to panic, this analysis flips the script. The core idea? The biggest, most powerful gains often pop up right after a period of maximum pain.
And this slide really puts it into perspective, right? The source brings up giants like Tesla and Nvidia as case studies. When you see a stock take a nosedive, we're talking 50% in just a couple of months, that's not the time to look away. According to this blueprint, that is the exact moment you should be paying your closest attention. The pain, it argues, is actually the setup for the potential gain.
Okay, so if the market is so scared, what on earth could turn things around? Well, this is where the analysis zooms out and looks at the bigger economic picture. It argues that some really powerful forces, these macro tailwinds, are starting to blow in the right direction.
And the source gets specific. It's pointing to things like the recent inflation numbers coming down and the latest job figures showing things are cooling off. The big takeaway here is that this kind of data could give the Federal Reserve the green light to maybe start cutting interest rates. And as you know, that's often like pouring fuel on the market's fire.
And this is really the crucial point here. It's not just one thing. It's a powerful combination of factors. While the day-to-day news might be all doom and gloom, this analysis is saying that behind the scenes, these big economic puzzle pieces are quietly clicking into place.
This brings us to a really cool metaphor the analysis uses to visualize what could happen with Bitmine. It's a concept they call the rubber band theory. And honestly, this is where the thesis gets super interesting, because it tries to explain all the pent-up energy in the stock.
So here's how it works. Just picture BMNR's stock price as a literal rubber band. The argument is that it's been stretched way back by fear and selling pressure, and that's creating a ton of tension. So when it's finally let go, the theory says it's not going to be a slow and steady climb. No, it's going to be a violent, fast snap forward. It's a pretty powerful image, right?
And this slide just perfectly captures the two different mindsets here. You've got the short-term trader on one side, totally obsessed with the next 3 to 5 days, right? They're panic selling on every little dip. But on the other side, you have the long-term investor who's thinking about the next 3 to 5 years. The blueprint is basically saying the real opportunity is unlocked when you ignore that daily noise and focus on the big picture, which it suggests could be huge.
So the big question is, right, if this rubber band is stretched so tight, what's going to be the thing that finally lets it go? Well, the analysis points to a few key events just around the corner that could be the trigger.
The blueprint flags 3 things to watch. First, we're heading into a historically strong part of the year for stocks, which often includes that famous Santa Claus rally. Second, and this one is specific to the company, there's an annual shareholder meeting coming up, and the source is pointing to this as a potentially huge bullish event.
Okay, so we've got the fear, we've got the macro picture, and we've got the potential triggers. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty. This last section lays out a technical roadmap, a step-by-step game plan for the stock's potential journey from here.
And here's what that game plan looks like. Step 1, the stock has to hold its key support level. Think of that as a price floor, right around 30 to 31 bucks. Step 2 is clearing a minor resistance level, like a little ceiling at 35. Step 3 is the big one, breaking through a major wall at $40. If it can clear that $40 hurdle, the blueprint suggests the path is open for a potential run to $50, $60, or maybe even $75.
But through all these numbers and charts, the analysis comes back to one crucial point, and it's this. You've got to tune out the noise, ignore the daily chatter, the ups and downs, and stay focused on the bigger picture that's been laid out.